this is Caitlin. Welcome back. So see, I made this beautiful card that I wanted to share with you, and then I deleted all my footage. So we're gonna go round two. This time, at least I know that I'm gonna love it when it's done. But today I'm gonna be making this really fun Pink and Main fortune teller Halloweeny card. This is fun because it could be Halloween, it could be any time of year. We're using the In the Future stamp set. That's the main feature of this one. And I'm going to start by trimming down my panels. So I have my regular card base piece that we're going to score in half. I trimmed a white panel down to be 5¼ by 4 inches. And I have a black piece up there that's going to be the full A2 sized card front. So 5½ by 4¼ on that piece of dark brown, well, like medium brown cardstock. That's a new color from Pink and Main, and I have that trimmed down to 4 inches by 1½. So we're going to get the black piece onto our card base, just to kind of get the ball rolling and have everything kind of pared down at once so that I don't lose anything while I'm crafting. And I'm going to go in with the Antique Linen Distress ink first, just kind of grunging up and warming up the background. We're going to stencil on this main cardstock piece, so we're going to turn this into a really fun kind of wallpaper feel. I just knew I wanted some distressing, so I also brought in some pumice stone and tried to keep that a little bit more to the edges, kind of like a medium color, right? If we think about it as like a light, a medium, and dark, just like when I'm Copic coloring. This is my medium shade. My antique linen I kind of ran all over with. And then I'm also going to bring in just a hint of the Dusty Concord right on the edges. Because we're going to use that same color here with our lattice layering stencil from Pink and Main. We're not going to do the layering. We're just going to do this kind of X shape with that same Dusty Concord, but in a way heavier layer. And that just gives us a really fun kind of antique-y, Victorian-y almost wallpaper. I really love how that turned out. So I also have this wood grain embossing folder, also from Pink and Main. And I use that to emboss my piece of brown cardstock. And I'm going to go in with Vintage Photo first, again, super liberally, and then a little bit more conservatively, a little of a smaller amount right on the edges with Ground Espresso Distress ink. And that is going to be all of our inking up. And again, I'm going to go ahead and assemble this background so that I don't lose anything. And when I did this, I realized that I had just an extra tiny little sliver of that background white showing. So I just took a dark brown Copic marker and kind of tinted the paper right on that edge, and it just kind of disappears. And then I don't have to worry about trimming it down or things not lining up right. So a little bit of Tombow permanent adhesive tape on the back, and that is all set to go. For my images, I am going to be using the tarot cards, the candlestick we're going to stamp twice, and then we have the banner for the top and our little fortune teller. I just love this stamp set so much. These are absolutely adorable. And the cool thing is I'm not going to use it today for this card, but there are circle, like scratch off stickers that you can use for these. And then this die set also has a circle that you can cut out the crystal ball with. So you could do like a shaker, you could put like acetate and put like a hidden, like another message that carries through on the inside of the card. There's just a lot of really fun possibilities there that I really like. So the bulk of this card process is definitely the Copic coloring. So I'm going to use the same colors as often as I can. So this YR combination is going to be used on both candlesticks, the moons, and all of the metal kind of elements on our little fortune teller. This also, making this the second time around, it was a lot easier to kind of stay organized with my coloring. I was so bummed last night when I realized that I had messed up my SD card and lost it because I was really happy with this card. But now it's okay because I have 2 copies of it. And sometimes that happens. And if you are someone who's on YouTube or making videos, I know that you've been there and you feel my pain. So at least now you know you're not alone too. Yeah, so I kept the banner super kind of soft and neutral with some light E40 markers. You guys know, as always, I'll have the colors all listed as well as all the products that I used today down in the description with links when possible. I am on the design team for Pink and Main, and I also do lives for Pink and Main every Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. This video is not part of my design teamwork or live schedule. It's just because I really do love this stamp set and I haven't gotten to play with it. It actually came out, I think, in the late spring, early summer, and I used it once, and then it's just been sitting in my stash. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to use this for Halloween. She's just too cool. So I think it's a really fun way to have a cutesy-er Halloween card. You saw on that first one, I stamped the "You Are Spooktacular" on the inside, which I think also kind of sells the Halloween vibe, but you could put anything you want. And this makes a really cute like birthday card too, because one of the stamp set also comes with more sentiments that you can stamp into the crystal ball. So you could put like, in your future, I see a happy birthday or birthday wishes or whatever on the inside of the crystal ball, which is so cute. So I used those YG olivey green markers for her skirt, and as well I brought it in on her eyes and on the tarot cards again. I used the same E40 markers for the candles, the banner, and her kind of like peasant blouse, piratey blouse. I'm going in with my E04 now to do a slightly tanner Caucasian skin tone. So I'm going to pull in a little bit extra E13 when I start blending this out. And that's going to help to give her a little bit more of a tan shade to her skin. When I colored this the first time over the summer, I made her like a ginger with really beautiful red hair. But this time I wanted to honestly kind of make her look more like me. So I went with a lot darker like brunette hair, and I think that it really stands out beautifully against all of the kind of softer creams and everything that I'm doing on this card. I think it helps to kind of create that pop of contrast. So I'm blending out that E13 with some E11, and then we're going to bring in an E00 to fill in all of the true highlights of the face. So the brow bone, the top of the cheeks, and the very center over her nose, as well as the collarbones and the fingers. And then I really went heavy with the blush for her. I went in with a R21 instead of an R20 just for an extra pop. And I brought in that R89 for some really dark lipstick. I think it pops and looks really nice. On my first version, I went with a purple lipstick, and it was okay, but I didn't love it. So I did have the opportunity to swap that out. I'm going in with W9 as my darkest shade. It's basically almost black, but it gives this really nice kind of definition to all of this hair texture. Then I blended that out with E59, and then E57 is going to be my highlight shade. I made her eyebrows match, and I'm kind of just going to chunk my way through this. So I worked on her eyebrows and the front pieces first. Then we're going to do the left side and then the right side. I just find that it's a lot easier for me to chip away and work at these in sections instead of trying to do the whole head all at once, which can get a little daunting, but also you run the risk of your ink starting to kind of dry out on your paper. And the drier your ink is, the harder it is for it to blend with the next color. So if you work really quickly and you know your pace, go for it. But these clips are all sped up about double time. So just keep that in mind. I do not color this fast. This is definitely sped up. I used to speed up my coloring in my videos like 400%. and I don't know how anybody could learn or see anything. I quickly realized that that was not, it's better to leave it a little longer and make it so that you guys can 100% see what's going on. So hopefully that's working out. I have seen a huge uptick in comments on my videos in the last couple weeks, and I just want to tell anybody who has left me a comment how much it means to me. Not just the kind words, but the fact that you would take the couple seconds out of your day to write something nice, in general, like, let alone besides something mean, but just the fact that you went out of your way to say something nice on one of my videos, it really does make my day. I've been trying really hard to make sure that I'm commenting back on as many as I can. So yeah, just thank you so much for all the support. I did find out this week that my donut card, that box card that I made, Halloween donut card a couple weeks ago or a week ago for the My Favorite Things Superstar contest, that ended up winning one of the 5 spots in the box card kind of like category. And that's just been so amazing. I was so excited. I've entered that for 4 years now, and to have a card kind of picked and recognized this year was really, really exciting for me. So I will put a card in here. It should pop up soon that tells you like the link to go if you want to see that, if you missed it. It was a very fun card to make, and I am pretty proud of it. So I stamped the "In Your Future I See" sentiment into that banner, and I'm just going to pull off all of these coordinating dies and get them lined up with my washi tape so that we can run this through my die cut machine. I never show that process because I'm just working on a small IKEA desk. I keep my die cut machine either under my desk or honestly on the floor next to my desk. And so I just don't have a good place to like bring it onto the desk to show you it going through. But I do use a Big Shot. She's pretty old now. She's seen better days, but I still love her. And once my images were all cut out, I'm going in with some liquid glue, and then we're going to also bring in some foam tape. And I really had a lot of fun playing around with kind of staggering my images across this table that we created, to kind of fill up that scene. So I wanted the banner in first so that I knew I would have room for it. Then I added my fortune teller with that adhesive tape too. And then I'm going to pop up the candlesticks and the tarot cards so they have a little bit of extra dimension. The cards were easy. I just cut a regular piece of foam tape. The candlesticks were a little trickier because they're thin, so I ended up cutting a piece of foam tape in half. And if you have the kind of scissors that don't let things stick to them, and you have like a favorite kind, please leave me a comment on that because I think I need them. It's so hard to cut foam tape with these. I love these sharp scissors from Simon Says Stamp, but they are just not made for cutting adhesive. And the final step was to take a little bit of the Pink and Main Touch of Gloss, which is pretty similar to the glossy accents from Ranger. But I find that it's nicer on these bigger surfaces. It's not as thick. And when it dries, it doesn't curl. Sometimes with glossy accents, I find that if I apply it in a bigger layer, it curls the paper, and this doesn't do that. So that's what the Touch of Gloss looks like, and you can see it just gives that beautiful shine. It'll dry clear. And these are my 2 cards side by side. Aren't they so cute? They're a little different, but they're pretty close. So thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. Tomorrow will be our last day of October Eve, and we're going out with a bang. I'm going to be part of a Sweet November Stamps YouTube hop with a huge giveaway. So keep an eye out for that video coming tomorrow. And until then, guys, happy crafting.